Welcome to all of you. So my name is Harshvardhan Singh Baghel, and today is our the first lectures on the flood routing. So guys, today we will discuss on some aspect of the flood routing. So, as far as we concern about the catchment area, a catchment area consists of the various type of the watershed, that is the single unit or the small units of the different terrains, different types of the watersheds. And if we want to evaluate the outlet or the outflow in a main outlet of a catchment area, we have to get or calculate the outflow from the each of the watershed. You can see in the image that if we have different types of the watersheds, and by using that is the inflow from the each of the watershed, we can calculate the total runoff generated from the each of the calculate. But if we in order to club the data, that is merge the data from the each of the watershed, we have to route the flow. So in a simple definition, in a simple way, we can define the flood routing. That is, the flood routing is the procedure whereby the shape of the flood hydrograph at any point in the downstream section of the reservoir or the stream is evaluated using the flood hydrograph and other hydrological parameters of the upstream section. So it is clearly showing in a definition that in other picture we can see that if we have a flood hydrograph at the upstream section, and by using this type of techniques we can calculate the flood hydrograph for the downstream section. That is the main motto of this technique. So in other words, we can also define that if we have the input hydrograph at the upstream side, that is from this side, and we require the output hydrograph in a downstream side, that is we want to know how this water is translated from the upstream side to the downstream side, taking care of the resistance, storage and other parameters of this reservoir or the stream. Then these types of the techniques we used in the hydrology. So there are some applications of the flood routing. That is, these techniques are used for the short-term flood forecasting. That is determination of the flood hydrograph for the future prediction. Then determining the required leaf height for the flood prediction, because in a flood routing we predict or analyze the behavior of the stream when it is going to the reservoir. So we can say that how much height it will gain when it is translated through the reservoir. So if we want to calculate the leaf height, that is the flood protection height, we have to use this technique in order to determine the peak or the wave height of the reservoir. Then adequacy of the spillway can also be analyzed by this method, predicting the behavior of the stream that we have discussed in a previous slide. Then derivation of the synthetic unit hydrograph using the Clark's method. So there are two types of the models which are used in order to determine or in order to evaluate the flood routing. That is the lump routing model and the distributed routing model. But lumped routing models is most widely used, and we will discuss it on the next slide. There are two types of routing in the lumped routing model, that is a reservoir or the storage routing, and the second one is the stream or the channel routing. The reservoir routing can be evaluated or analyzed by using a level pool routing method. Considering the reservoir have a level surface, that is does not having a declining surface, that is a true for all the types of reservoir. And this on the basis of this approach we have the three methods, that is the modified Puls method, the Goodrich method and the numerical approach. So the lumped, or which is also known as the hydrologic routing method. So there are two conditions on the actually both the models utilizes the continuity equation for such analysis. In a lumped or the hydrologic routing model, the outflow That is, we consider that is we calculate the outflow at any given at a given location for any given time. That is, the outflow is only the function of the time, not the function of the location. So we can determine the outflow for any time, but in a distributed model we have to analyze the outflow for any given location as well as for the time. That is, the outflow will be the function of the location as well as the time. So the distributed model is much more complicated and computation is much more difficult as compared to the lumped model. So lumped model is most widely used for the flood routing in a hydrology. As we have discussed in a previous slide, that distributed model, the outflow is the function of both, that is the location as well as the time. That we determined or evaluated the outflow at the downstream at any section or at any point for the variable time, that is the temporal as well as the spatial distribution of the outflow throughout the stream or throughout the reservoir. This model utilizes both the equation, that is the continuity equation and the momentum equation. So the first equation is the continuity equation and the second equation is the momentum equation. So it is clearly indicating in a first equation, that is the sum of the change of the outflow with respect to the location, and the sum of the outflow at a downstream with respect to the time will be equal to the 0. The second is based on a momentum equation, where the S0 is the pad slope and the SF is the frictional slope. So we have already discussed that this one is the much more complicated as compared to the lumped model. So we usually not use this type of techniques for the flood routing in a hydrology. So one of the most challenging problem in the flood routing is the determination of the parameters. Actually, I am discussing it in much more simple way. Then there are only 3 parameters or the 3 graphs that we have to evaluate it before the flood routing, as shown in a slide. That is, there are the 3 graphs. First one is the storage versus height, second one is the discharge versus height, and by using these 2 graphs we can generate the third graph, that is the storage versus discharge. So how can we draw the storage versus height graph? By using simply a reservoir draw in isoheital form. If we have the isoheight or the contour maps, then we can calculate a height for each of the storage area. Okay. So for a particular area, just take at any interval of the contour. Then for a particular contour interval, we can calculate the area, and by multiplying the area with the height, we can calculate the volume, that is ultimately the storage in a cubic meter. And for the different the height which is associated with this storage, we can draw a graph between the storage and height. So by developing a graph, we can say that the storage and the height has the direct relationship, that is the storage will be the function of the height of the reservoir. The second one is the discharge versus height. We know that the discharge from the weir has the formula Q equal to CLH to the power 3 by 2. That is the Q will be the function of H to the power 3 by 2, that is a 1.5. So by using formula, all the other parameters are known. We can draw the graph between the discharge and height. And by clubbing these 2 graphs, we can generate the third graph, that is the discharge versus height. So these are the basic parameters or the basic graphs or the input value which we will use to determine or evaluate the flood routing, both for the reservoir as well as for the stream. So the basic approach to solve or evaluate the flood routing for the reservoir is the level pool routing. This method assumes that the reservoir level is horizontal, that is, it has the no slope at the top level. You can see in a figure that is it has a no slope, it has a horizontal surface, and it ignores any changes in a water level. That is true for all the types of the reservoir that we have discussed. And there is an inflow from the upstream side. There is a S which denoting the total storage height in the reservoir. The total height is h, and the flow over crest is small h. The Q is the discharge from the reservoir. So from the continuity equation we can say that is the inflow minus outflow will be equal to the change of storage with respect to the time. On rearranging we can say that is the average of the inflow and the average of the outflow. The difference of these parameters will give the change of the storage with respect to the time. Consider a small time interval del t. However, this time interval technically it is between the 1/3 or the 1/6 of the time of peak. How can we calculate the time of peak? The time of peak can be calculated by using the flood hydrograph of the input values. So if we consider a particular time interval, then we can calculate the I1 and I2, that is the inflow, the discharge of the inflow hydrograph for the particular time T1 and for particular point T2, and the Q1 and Q2. However, the Q1 and Q2 are the unknown quantities, and S2 and S1. S1 is the known quantity, but S2 is the unknown quantity. So this is the basic equations, the continuity equation for the level pool routing approach. So on the basis of the level pool routing approach, there are two types of the method to solve this equation. That is the modified Puls method, and the second one is the Goodrich method. In a modified Puls method, the basic equation of the level pool routing method, on rearranging we can get this simple equation, that is H2 plus Q2 del T by 2 equal to I1 plus I2 by 2 del T plus S1 minus Q1 del T by 2. So there actually on the left hand side we have unknown quantity, and the right hand side we have the known quantity. I1 and I2 are known, del T we have calculated. Only S1 minus Q1 del T by 2 is the unknown quantity. So we can solve it. We can actually there is a problem for solving this equation, that is the H2 and Q2 both are the function of the H. So we cannot directly solve it analytically, we have to solve it graphically. So first we construct a graph between the S plus Q del T by 2 versus the H. On a same graph we can we also construct the graph between the Q versus H. So there are two types of the curves are showing in the slide. That is, first one is the S plus del T by 2 versus H, and the second one is the Q versus the H. Okay, so for any known quantity S plus Q del T by 2, we have the storage value, that is the S1 value, we have the Q1 value, and we have the del T value. For any value of the upstream side S plus Q del T by 2 for the upstream, we can calculate the H, that is the corresponding height H1, and ultimately we can calculate the Q for corresponding value of the Q. Okay, and we know that if we have the value of the S1 plus Q1 del T by 2, subtract the value of the Q1 del T. Okay, del T we have known, and Q we have calculated by using this graph. So we can calculate S1 minus Q1 del T by 2, and ultimately we will get S2 plus Q2 del T by 2. So this is the one approach to determining the modified to determining these parameters. Okay. The second method is based on a level pool approach, is the Goodrich method. The method is nothing but it is just same as that of the modified Puls method with few differences, because in this method the computation of the parameters are much more easier as compared to the modified Puls method. So rearrangement is the same, but here's the del T is transformed into the left hand side. So we construct the graph between the 2s del T plus 2s by del t plus q and versus h, and the same two graphs are constructed. So the same procedure is followed, that is first determining the 2s1 del t plus q1. Then for the corresponding value of the h we will get the value of the q1, and by subtracting the 2q1 we can calculate the value of the 2s1 by del t minus q1, and ultimately we will get the value of the 2s1 del t plus q s2 by del t plus q2. Okay, so by calculating the parameters of the q and s for associated with the different time intervals, we can draw a graph between the discharge of the water from the reservoir, that is the q, for the different time interval. And if we draw both the graphs, that is the flood hydrograph at the upstream side and the flood hydrograph at the downstream side on the same graph, we can it is clearly seen in a picture that there is some decrease in a peak in the downstream hydrograph as compared to the upstream hydrograph, and this peak is known as the attenuation, that is the attenuation in a peak. There is also some lag of the time between the peak of the flood hydrograph at the upstream side and the flood of the hydrograph at the downstream side, and this is known as the time lag, that is the time lag to achieve the peak in a downstream side. We can also see that the most of the water or the most of the discharge above the curve of the downstream hydrograph is going as a storage, and the most of the water above the input hydrographs on the downstream hydrograph is going as an outlet, that is the withdrawal of the water. So there are two types of section, that is the first blue section or the first blue hatches shows the storage of the water. However, the second the empty portion showing the discharge or the withdrawal of the water. So there are two important terms, that is the time lag and the attenuation, that we have to note for our further analysis. So guys, I have published the 3 research paper in the International Journal of the Agriculture and Engineering in April 2020 edition, and if you have any interest on this topic, just go through this paper, and if you have any doubt regarding my topic, regarding this discussion, or regarding these papers, then you can ask me through the mail. Thanks a lot.